Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Everton 0, Aston Villa 1. I'm joined by Mike, one of our patrons, to go over it. Baz has got COVID. He finally got him. Finally, good time to get it though. If you're going to get it.
Good time, yeah. Either way now.
Get it whenever. Also, you could get it anytime when everyone will crap. Yeah. Another disappointing result. Obviously being the first game of Duncan Ferguson, might be the last game of Duncan Ferguson's reign as caretaker manager, was made it tough. It was a massive anticlimax, wasn't it? A massive anticlimax, Saturday.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I think he was saying off camera, like, it took me lad the game, and I said to him, like, one little hope that we've got, because obviously being a 9-year-old kid supporting Everton at the minute is tough work. And I said to him, well, at least today we're going to have a good atmosphere, he's going to really enjoy it, it'll be like the Chelsea game. And it wasn't, and I think Everton missed the trick massively with that, because I think we really, I mean, I don't think it helped by when we seen the team news. I think a lot of people were a bit like, but we were still there, we were still dying to get into it. And I thought we could have just done what we did with the Chelsea, bring Dunk on, introduce him, to get the crowd going. We were waiting for it, and it just didn't happen. And yeah, I don't know. It was different this time. I've seen a lot of people saying they were really looking forward to it. And you know, Saturday morning, I seen the stuff about Duncan put money behind the bar in a couple of pubs. And I walked down Goodison Road at it was probably about 11:45, and I didn't really feel an anticipation for the game. I really didn't. And when we got in there, you know, the crowd were up for the start. But as you said there, I think the team he picked, he got it wrong. I'll be honest, Dunk, you got it wrong, mate. I think he I'll be honest, I think he bottled it. Yeah. I think he bottled it. I think he had the chance to do things his own way, and I think he got it wrong. And I don't even mean that in personnel. I just mean up in setup. I know we had the problem with Alan, who was out with COVID, and he hadn't trained all week, and he probably shouldn't even have been on the bench. But I just think he got it wrong with the setup, going in with 4-4-2 again. I think this time it was a case of, like last time, we were changing from playing a formation we should actually play now, maybe a bit more, but it worked last time. And even with terrible players, and it was a big game. It's Chelsea. I don't know whether it was because it was Villa and it was a little bit more of felt more of an even contest. I don't know, but the team he just got wrong. I mean, I understand why he took Coleman out and brought Kenny, and I understand why he took Keane out and brought Holgate in. Maybe not ideal, but that shows you the squad we've got. But not having three in midfield again, to me, just lacks it lacks the imagination we need. Yeah. And it lacked to me the understanding of where we've been going wrong this season. Yeah, I totally agree. I think, you know, if you're looking at what's previously happened with us, it's losing games on the fact that we can't control the midfield battle. It's clear as day to everyone, other than, unfortunately, the managers and coaches that seem to be at the club. And I understand, like you say, obviously Alan's not fully fit or whatnot, but we needed to shoehorn somehow a three-man midfield, and whether that was play Michael Keane and put Holgate in there, and I know it's not ideal, but something needed to be where there was three lads in midfield to make us hard to beat. We needed to, like, lads who sat next to me, and I'm saying to him, if we can pick up a point, and I know it's not the type of thing we want to be saying going the game, but these points where it's just a point, or they start to keep you ticking over. It's a foundation to build from. And yeah, I think, look, I got the team news driving to the ground and was instantly thinking, oh no, you know, and you're open to be proven wrong, but unfortunately it just didn't materialise.
Well, he's obviously, he's had a plan in his head, and he thinks, you know, I think he thought maybe in the midfield he could play, it would be a little bit different. And at first, I think the core was trying to drive forward and was trying to be aggressive. But Gomez next to him can't play in a 2.
No.
He can barely play in 3. He's not defensively,
he's a mess, an absolute mess defensively, and it leaves a lot on Decore then. And when you've got fullbacks who can't get forward, it really does leave you scratching your head how you would pick this, because Villa set up like Brighton did.
Yeah.
Slightly different. Brighton played 3 at the back, they played 4. But they had 3 in midfield, and then they had 2 in front of them, and then they had a very mobile front man in Watkins.
Yeah.
It didn't really do anything, but kept some of our players busy. But what it did was it boxed in our 2 centre midfielders like Brighton did.
Yeah.
It boxes them in, and then you're using the fullbacks as your width. Again, I can't reiterate the point. Modern teams have wingers as their fullbacks are their wingers. Yeah. I can't reiterate that enough. Chelsea do it, Liverpool do it, we've seen Brighton do it, we've seen Villa do it. That's why they bought Luca Dean. Look how high Luca Dean's starting position was on Saturday. Yeah. It was completely different when he played for us this season.
Absolutely, yeah.
He was in our half most of the game. And Matty Cash was on the other side. Perfect fullbacks for what Gerrard wants to do.
Yeah.
It's aggressive. And don't get me wrong, listen, I'm not... Villa weren't good.
No, which makes it even worse.
When I mean they weren't good, they weren't like amazing. They were like when we played West Ham. They had a bit of a plan, and their plan looked like they knew what they were doing. Whereas our plan, but we don't look like we're doing what we're doing. We lose the ball all the time. Whereas I think they had something about them. It was just that it didn't quite work. And don't forget, I think that might be the first time they played that system, because Coutinho would just come to it and Dean's just come into it. So they're learning on the job. But that's progressive football. Yeah. And apparently now Villa are looking for a top-class defensive midfielder to just sit in front of that back four. Because I've seen a couple of images from the stills where when they were going forward, they basically had left back. The left back was the 2 centre-backs and the sitting midfielder. Like we used to do with Gareth Barry. Full-backs gone forward.
In cover.
The other 2 had gone narrow. And it was all, they outnumbered us.
Yeah.
We're just old-fashioned and shite.
They can't pass a ball.
And we can't pass a ball.
They literally can't pass a ball. And for me, you're going back to the old days where it was like where your phrase, the circle of shite, and we're bringing them all in, trying to find a solution within a 4-4-2 formation. We don't have the players to play 4-4-2. And I don't see how anyone can continue to pick that formation. Just can't see it.
But you can't play 4-4-2 in the modern game. You're a coach, you know this. You can't play it. Your kids surely aren't playing 4-4-2.
I wish they were. We would win a few more games. It's 7-aside for us at the minute. But
no one plays 4-4-2, and if they do, it's like Burnley and it's agricultural, and you get men behind the ball, and you've got lads who are prepared to get behind the ball, and you know what your first thing to do in the game is to pick up points. You're agricultural. You have 2 centre midfielders, you have dogs. You have, we don't have that. We're passive. We have our 2 centre midfielders on Saturday. Neither of them are defensive players.
No.
The core is a number 8.
Yeah.
And he's not being played like a number 8. And Andre Gomes is a number 8, who quite frankly hasn't got the legs to be a number 8. We are playing an old-fashioned style, which is so easy to be played through. Yeah. And I was really disappointed in Dunk, because I really do believe that I looked at him and I thought, you're not being yourself today. You've got this wrong, and I think you've got this wrong.
Yeah.
And
I think this interview afterwards almost looked like regret, to be honest.
Because let me just put this graphic up. This graphic is of the average positions of the team that started the game. I mean, look at John Joe Kenny and look at Townsend there on that right-hand side. So the fullbacks are sort of trying to push forward, but Townsend is not going anywhere. And on the other side, Gray and Ben Godfrey are holding each other's hands. Look at where Dominic Calvert-Lewin is and where Richarlison is. They're playing the flip way of what they should be playing, because there's no one in that midfield trying to get forward. Yeah. Look at how deep the core is. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous that we're not stretching them by having players in higher up the pitch. And the wingers aren't doing anything, and the fullbacks aren't doing anything.
Yeah, they cancel each other out.
Yeah, and I'll put another graphic up in a little bit when we talk about the subs to show you but
this system just doesn't work. And I know it's difficult because it is about finding that third player.
Yeah.
And Alan would have been that third player. And I do think he would have played 3 if he'd had Alan. I think he was a little bit caught between the devil and the blue sea on Saturday in terms of the formation, just because he didn't have Alan, not by having Alan. He didn't. Yeah. I don't think he thought that he had the players capable anyway. But that's where maybe he's ended up having to bring Anyango on anyway, with the Corey going off. And he basically changed the whole... Well, he did change the whole centre midfield. But
yeah,
I thought in the first half, I thought it was a poor first half.
Yeah, it was very
They
poor.
had a little bit more of the ball.
We were flat.
They had a bit more of intent. But it's the flatness of the fan base and the team playing. And I'll be honest, that really worries me.
Yeah, the thing for me is you know, you're looking at that, and we, as a fan base, and obviously can't talk for everyone, but I was waiting to be sparked into life. Like, really just wanted it. And honestly, do you know what, with Duncan stuff, you're thinking, you know, be into Godfrey's ear and just go and smash one of them. In the first few minutes, go and smash a tackling in the first few, and get this crowd behind us. Because if he's being a little bit hamstrung between what he's doing on the line and not giving it as much and trying to be a little bit more reserved, a bit more professional from that perspective, then all we needed was that thing to ignite us, and it didn't come, and it was flat.
And the sad thing about that is that that's what we need, because we are a poor side.
Yeah.
As I said, I don't think Villa were particularly good, but they had a general control over the game, I thought, which just... and this is where it felt like the West Ham game, where it was like, if anyone was ever going to score, it was going to be them.
Yeah.
For the first goal.
That, yeah.
Just because of the... It's hard to contextualise this sometimes, but when you're watching a game and you just think, these know what they're doing.
Got a little bit more quality as well on the ball. A little bit more.
They know what they're doing. They're just not doing it very well.
Yeah.
Whereas I watch us and I just think, we don't know what we're doing, and we're not doing it very well either.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, I think, between teams who finish in between 6th and 12th to where we are now. Those teams have a plan and they're working towards it. It was like Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti had a plan. It wasn't nice at times. Certainly when we picked up all those points, it wasn't nice at times, but it got us enough points. All right, anyway, it went flat in the second half of the season. Managers, you look at like the teams above us, you know, Palace, Brighton, Villa, Brentford to a degree. They know what they're trying to do. It doesn't always work because of the quality of the players, but they're working towards something. So every day in training, you're working towards something. You're building up patterns of play. I watch us, and I just see a team that it's got 2 tactics. One tactic is give it to Gray. The other tactic is throw a cross into the box.
Yeah.
And neither of them worked on Saturday. They did a fantastic job on Gray.
I was about to say that.
They did a fantastic job on Gray.
That.
I'd seen
people
was
just out the game, money.
They put 3 men on him because they knew that when Gray gets the ball, he only has one thing in his mind: run with it and get in and around the box to maybe put the ball across.
Yeah.
He's not a player who gets it, gives it and asks for it back. He gets it and he's got one idea in his head. It might be why he plays for Everton, because he doesn't ever have the other thought to do something different. And they just put 3 men around him and pushed them.
Yeah.
He never had an opportunity to get those crosses that we've seen him get in all season, where we was like, oh, imagine we had Dom on the end of it. And that was the difference for me.
Yeah.
And we've got to get an idea.
The problem was that should have left space for Townsend on the other side. Well, it did leave space for Townsend on the other side, and he just had them there. Yeah. He was absolutely poor.
He was poor, very poor.
And you know, he kept coming deeper and deeper. You know, for all John Joe Kenny, and he was atrocious. But every time he got the ball, he didn't have an option. There was no options. Townsend's coming in, he's smothering his space. He's not making the run to give him an outlet. Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison were pushing over the other side. It was just, like they look devoid of any idea and any plan on the pitch. And so if you're devoid of all that, you need a bit of fight and a bit of desire. And it was devoid of that as well. You know, I wouldn't say they didn't work hard.
I thought they worked harder.
Yeah.
But it was it's how hard they should work every game.
Yeah.
So again, players are cheating us.
Yeah.
Players are cheating us. So that's one thing.
We know they are. We've seen it for years. Yeah, same ones doing the same thing. Yeah.
The cheating us. And as I said, just one moment of... Because their goal's quality, by the way, because of it's obviously been worked on. It's quality, it's thinking about things, it's doing things a bit different. Like, we were talking, I think, just
Dean's
before...
first assist that got us in the season.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me. We were talking before, and I think we were saying off camera about, like, you know, what we've lost, and or where we're going, and we've just been sitting here and about where we're going as a football club in terms of how we play. You know, clubs now are investing in set-piece coaches and all these fine margins. Yeah. We can't keep crosses on the pitch off a corner to go out. Whereas they look like they'd worked on that and worked on it.
Yeah.
And it worked perfectly. And it's those little fine margins that we just don't seem to gain. In a team that is devoid of ideas, we don't work on the fine margins. And that's where I worry about teams like Burnley, who will work on that. They'll go, what are we not good at? Mostly everything. So what can we be good at? What can we control? Set pieces, defensively and offensively. And they will work on them all day. I don't think we've got that at Everton.
No, absolutely
I don't think we've got that kind of idea. It baffles me how Rafa Benitez got it so wrong. Where he got it so right at Newcastle, fine margins. And we're left now with a team that are completely devoid of ideas. A fan base that is completely lacking in energy to be up for the fight.
Yeah. Which
is coming. And I think we've got a set of players who don't believe in themselves and don't believe in pretty much anything that's going on. And that to me is the biggest issue. That's the biggest worry.
Yeah. The thing is from a player's perspective, you know, they are only human beings, aren't they? Yeah. And they're going to be looking at the whole shit show of the club.
Yeah.
And are going to be feeling probably the same as us and going, where are they going? What's the direction of it? What, you know, what are we trying to achieve here? And you know, it transcends onto the pitch. And every week, though, we're going by and we're going, it's another defeat. And we need to get, like exactly what you said, we've got to get back down to basics because that's all we are, with a basic football team at best, and we need to be good at it.
But we've got to get down to basics in a formation that works.
That works for the players
two
that we have.
Midfield does not work. It doesn't work anymore.
No.
If you're getting outnumbered in the middle of the park every game, you're on a loser. Unless you've got
you need two decores.
Unless you've got a Kante or a Ghana or an Ndidi or someone like that who can get round the pitch, and it almost feels like two men, you're gonna lose. Obviously, we brought Mina back, and I thought he was a little bit nervy. A couple of mistimed headers early on, or mistimed jumps, which allowed them to get over the top. There was also the header that he put over Jordan Pickford. Luckily enough, didn't have any power on it. But I did think that he was a bit of a bright spark in terms of. I look at him and I think if he can stay fit, imagine. But if he can stay fit, I think in general we'll be a lot better, because I thought their set piece, they'd worked on it, and the goal was a good, well worked set piece, and it was more out of the lack of ambition of why we conceded it. It wasn't just a straight ball into the... Because I think we dealt with most of the straight balls. I think Mina dealt with most things all day. And we've just got this graphic of... It's Mina versus Villa compared to Keane versus Norwich. Clearances 2 to Keane's 1 against Norwich. 3 tackles to 3. But it's this one that caught my eye. Jules won 8 out of 14 for Mina. 4 out of 10 for Keane against Norwich. And that tells me straight away, that shows straight to me that Mina, you know, they're supposed to be your dominant centre-backs. Keane obviously was, now it's Mina. But winning 8 out of 14, I think straight away just shows it to me just feels like there might be a little bit more there in terms of those battles. I think pass accuracy 88% to 84, and 5 out of 7 long balls to 6 out of 10. I mean, they're not too don't get me wrong, they're not too dissimilar. They're not massively dissimilar to each other. But I just felt like Firmino coming back for his first full game. Don't forget, since September for his first full game that he played.
Oh, it's got to be, hasn't it?
You know, I know he came on against Aston, but he lasted 29 minutes. He basically did the walkout, didn't he? Yeah. He's one of the lads. He did the walkout. So that's his first game since the internationals.
Captain's armband as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. The internationals, wasn't it? Colombia was the last time he played full game, and he played 3 in a week. So I do feel massively more confident
He's the best centre-back at the club, isn't he? There's no two ways about it. Do you know, this might sound controversial, I understand why he dropped Keane, because obviously his performance
he's
at
crap.
Norwich. However, Keane with Mina is a different Keane.
Yeah.
He's still crap, but he's not...
No, I get that.
But Holgate's not the answer either.
No.
Holgate is not the answer. And I would have preferred to have seen Keane and Mina together, and I think it would have helped Keane.
I think Keane needed to be dropped, though.
Do you think?
I think for me, and I think it's the same for Seamus Coleman.
Yeah.
I think it was sending a message to them and to everybody that these players, like the captain and you know, someone who's being captain, they were terrible last week, like properly terrible. And I think they needed to. I think it was just, you're right though, that it's who... Dunk had a decision to make.
Yeah.
Whether he brought Patterson in or whether he brought Michaelenko in. He decided against that, and he decided, for whatever reason, maybe they're just not there. Maybe they're just not up to the pace of the game, and he's seen that in training. Yeah. And maybe he thought it was about going back to basics, bringing in Ben Godfrey going back to left back, which means he had to make the decision centre half, and then obviously the right back situation. Wasn't going to have Coleman, wasn't going to have Patterson, so he was going to give John Joe a go.
Yeah.
We will run, most of the game he just reminded me of a lesser Tony Hibbert.
Yeah, it's
Who
true.
scored playing in France, which was incredible. Played his first game in France and scored. 1-on-1 ratio. No, he had decisions to make, and all those decisions had knock-on effects to the fella next to him. So you're right. Probably the easiest thing to do would have just said, well, I've got Keane and I've got Mina.
The thing for me is, I understand sending a message, but also we need to pick up points.
Yeah.
Look, we'll never know, and it's easy now in hindsight, isn't it? And defensively, don't get me wrong, I don't think defensively we looked all over the shop by any stretch of my nation. We didn't. Yeah,
they had no shots in the second half.
The only good save or good save that Pickford made was offside, wasn't it? You know, and that was an unbelievable save, by the way. Unbelievable. We stood up and clapped that. That was unbelievable. And I thought his performance, by the way, not just in what he actually had to do, but we got a foul on Decore on the halfway line, and he comes sprinting out of his box right up to the referee, and I thought, he looks like a captain at the minute to me. I'd be putting the armband on him, and look at 12 months ago I was slagging the lad off. I thought he needed to go out the club, and I think he's one of the bright sparks of this season. I think from a character perspective, he looks like he's up for the fight, and there's very few of them in that team at the moment, but he looks like one of them who's up for it. And I just think a lot. I think the decisions that don't made, they didn't work, did they? But I understand why he maybe looked to do them, but I really just think Keane should have been in there. Yeah, I think for the lift as well, we all wanted to see Patterson, and it does worry me if Patterson isn't better than John Joe Kenny.
I don't think it's a question of being better. I think it's a question of just where they are in terms of understanding the level you've got to be at the Premier. I honestly believe that.
I don't know whether John Joe Kenny understands the level of...
No, I thought defensively he was okay. His passing's atrocious. And as I said, in the modern game, there's no real place for players like that apart from at Burnley.
Yeah.
There's no place for them. You need modern... And to play fullbacks who can play high, you need to have three midfield. It's as simple as that. It's not rocket science now. It's obvious to everyone. Dunk went with two and then kept the fullbacks back and relied on the width. So in a way, he got it right in terms of, if you have two defensive fullbacks, and you can have two in centre midfield. Then, it worked second half because we didn't need that width. We had when we brought Gordon on. So in a way, they never troubled the second half really at all. Apart from, I think they had one free kick. They had one run that I think Mina just blocked and ended up in a free kick, and he put it. I think he put it over, didn't he? So they didn't really do anything in the second half. But I think you can just tell from the squad that we're just so... There's so many players coming back from injury.
Yeah.
You've got Mina 3 months. You've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin 4 months. You've got Richarlison, who only came back last week from being out for a month. Townsend came back 2 weeks ago, and he'd been out a month.
Yeah.
And then you've got Michaelenko, who has only been in the country 3 weeks. You've got Patterson come down from Scotland for 3 weeks. Alan's just had COVID. So there are still lots of issues. And I think if whoever's the manager
at the moment, or a new manager, they've got a couple of weeks or whatever now to try and get some of the players up to speed. Yeah. Patterson, I think, goes with Scotland. Michaelenko, don't know if he goes with Ukraine. The game against Brentford might be the perfect game for them because it's a cup game. It might take the pressure off, give them a run out, give one of them or two of them a run out, and maybe because it would be lovely to just be in a position where you go on, you play, lads. Brantwaite, go on. Yeah. And Yango, have half an hour here and there or whatever. But obviously we're not in that position. But it would be lovely if we were in that position.
The thing with that, and I totally agree, you're right. But I always have this thing because it's like we're not in that position or whatnot, so let's not. But we know the players that are playing ahead of them aren't. We don't know whether they are good enough, but we know the other ones are not good enough. So for me, I'd rather take the risk.
Better the devil you know, isn't it? I suppose.
Is it though?
Well, we seen Michaelenko last week. He looks very short in terms of the pace of the game.
Yeah, he does. But if you want him to get up to it, the thing for me is that I think right now, and if that team news comes through and you see at least Patterson, I think the Michaelenko we can understand a little bit more. Yeah. But the Patterson one in there, a 4-3-3 formation. That whole, and we never know obviously what would transcend on the pitch, but that whole atmosphere at the start would be completely different. I was very flat when I saw it, and I think a lot of people would have been. And
I think,
I know John Joe Kenny's not good enough. Yeah. I don't know whether Patterson is.
It's weird. You are right though. It does, when the team sheet comes out, it does tend to affect the mood of people going into the ground.
Oh, definitely.
It is something that can affect you.
Definitely.
Affect you.
You want to be excited, don't you? We've just bought this young lad who's, supposed to be this more modern right back. He's going to get forward, energy, everything we've been crying out for. We've been looking to replace a right back for 3-4 years. We've got the replacement in, and he can't make the bench. And it's. I understand. Look, he might not be ready, and that's fine. But that's concerning. We needed the right back now.
No, we did. We did. That's the thing, isn't it? We don't have time for that crossover. In a way, you've got to put. And I think obviously Rafa Benitez had played Michaelenko for that reason. He was our left back. He is our left back.
Yeah.
It is that thing of like if Michaelenko had made mistakes, people have gone, why don't you put Ben Godfrey there? It all has.
Of course it does. Yeah.
Everything always has a knock-on effect, don't it? And also if you though tactically though, like I was saying before, if you set your team up to try and be solid, you don't necessarily want full-backs who are going to go forward. You might want full-backs who are just going to sit in, and then it's going to be your front players that you're going to determine from. That's maybe where he got the Townsend thing wrong. Maybe starting Townsend might have been the wrong move because you've got someone behind him who's going to sit in, and you've got Townsend who really isn't going to push for them forward. And I think we've seen that in the second half when Gordon came on. And if we just look at Gordon's numbers, so Townsend 37 touches, 50% accuracy. Pass accuracy. Gordon, 24 touches, 100% pass accuracy.
Unbelievable.
4 crosses out of 10. Townsend had 1 out of 5. Dribbles, 4 out of 5 for Townsend, so he's done better there. Dribbles, Gordon, none. Key passes, 1 from Townsend. Key passes from Gordon, 4.
I mean, we all seen the impact.
4.
The impact was incredible.
And if we just look at the average positions after the substitute, hang on, sorry, that's the original one. Sorry, here's the after the substitute. Look where Gordon's playing. Yeah. He's playing up front.
Yeah.
But look at that now. Look where he is compared to where Townsend is when we have to go and score goals. Now suddenly you've got him getting forward, trying to come. He's coming off the right hand side. He's going inside with the ball. He's got Richarlison. You've got Richarlison. Damari Gray hasn't really moved. Dom hasn't really moved. But suddenly you've got Gordon in a more advanced position.
What it did as well is it freed up space for...
And look at Alan in that position. So Alan is doing what we said before about the DM sitting in and allowing it. So he's done that. He's taken the ball off the back four. And suddenly Anthony Gordon is added... Look at where Townsend is there.
Yeah.
And look at that. Look how much more room he's allowing. Not only is he's getting more room up there and he's helping him create more, but look at now John Joe Kenny has actually got grass in front of him to run into.
And that's where, if that's Patterson, do you know what I mean? And that's where, I'd have had him on the bench, and look, the injuries hampered the substitutions as well. For what
so suddenly we've almost got 3 at the back.
Yeah.
We've almost got wing backs. Then we've got so that's nearly a 3-5-2 in a way. And we've seen it. We've seen how many more chances we made.
Yeah.
How many more chances we made in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, we had
brought Godfrey into brought Gray into the game as well, because although on there his graphic with position didn't change, but because Gordon was higher up the pitch and occupying them more, I thought Gray got on the ball and looked a lot more dangerous as well.
Well, yeah, because then they can't go, well, we need to put 3 men on this fella. Because suddenly Gordon played, Gordon came off the right and played a lovely crossfield ball to Decore, to Damari Gray, sorry. And suddenly, so you're switching things up, you're moving the ball around, you're moving it quicker.
Giving them
and
more
suddenly
problems.
Dom had a big chance, which he should have done better from. Yerry Mina had a couple of chances he should have done better from. Because we're putting crosses in from the right and the left, we're running at people, we're pulling them a little bit. And we deserved a draw. In the second half, we deserved a draw. They have nothing. Game, and we've had lots of opportunities. Obviously, we had one cleared off the line. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like we had relentless. I mean, that's one of the things that did disappoint me, was it wasn't relentless pressure. And certainly when the ball went for 5 minutes, we did nothing for those 5 minutes. We made stupid errors. But what Gordon showed there is the ability to take responsibility again, change things. And I think, again, that's where Dunk might have got it wrong. You've got 2 fullbacks who aren't going to attack. So why have you got Townsend then in front of him? Surely the fella in front should then have the licence.
Yeah.
And that mightn't have been Gordon. That might have been Richarlison on the right, Gray on the left, and 3 in the midfield. And then you've opened up the spaces. And I think that's where he got it wrong. He was actually a little bit too negative. Even though we've only got 2 in centre midfield.
Yeah.
If you're attacking using the width, then the width's got to be able to get into the faces. And I think by starting Townsend, he's negated that.
I mean, partly when I was looking at the lineup when it come through, I was almost thinking or hoping, potentially, could he have been going a 4 at the back, a 3 in midfield with Townsend playing as one of the 3, because he does play a bit more in deep, then a Gray and then the 2, or Richarlison and the Gray. But it just didn't work. It felt wrong as soon as you seen it. Gordon will obviously have felt disappointed to not. I think he's done enough the last few weeks to warrant a start in the team. But good to have him on the bench to be able to bring an impact player off the bench as well.
He's asking questions, and I have seen this thing of people saying, well, how can you play 3 in the midfield when our 4 best players are Gordon, Gray, Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Well, you've got to make it work, because there's no point having 4 players on the pitch if those 4 players are not scoring goals and we're not winning games and we're conceding goals. You've got to get the balance right. The best teams in the land have a lot more better players than we do, and they manage to do it. You can't sit there and go, we need to have them all playing. It doesn't work like that. You have to find the balance. And I think, listen, I think we all feel like we should have 3 in midfield, but we've ended up finishing the game with Allen and Youngo on the pitch, though. So it's and Youngo's got like a good half an hour there, hasn't he? Decore obviously getting the groin injury. Alan, question marks are, could he have started the game? And I don't think the medical team were too happy with Dunk even putting him on the bench. Yeah. But Alan's obviously come and said, I feel all right. He hasn't trained, but he's tenacious and he's.
He made an impact when he come on. I thought he was superb, mate. I really did. I thought just his character is he come on and he wanted it, and it's quite infectious. He come on in. I think within the first few minutes, he come on, he picked the ball and he just drove. But
when you look at the difference between him and Gomez in terms of how quickly they move. I mean, I know people say Alan's slow, but Gomez, he's like the slot out of Zootropolis. Honest to God. Flash. He just lumbers around. I've said this before, he lumbers around the pitch. Does, whereas Alan's trying to move around.
And thinks quick as well, Alan.
And it's, there's times when he drives and there was one where, it parted like the Red Sea. And you need a little bit of that. Whereas Gomez doesn't have that. So I think, ultimately, I think we were very unlucky not to get a point out of the game, but you've got to put the ball in the back of the net. And we only had 1 shot on target. So that's a real disappointment. As I said, I'm worried about how. I think there were positives. Villa were better than us in terms of organisation and how they were set up. But I do think they were the second half. Number one, he got the subs out straight away. You know, 5 minutes and 5 minutes later. So he recognised quickly it wasn't working and he needed to change something. So that's positive. I think, I'm sure he maybe thinks to himself, now I got it wrong in the setup. But the goals come from a set piece. It's a well-worked set piece. You know, it's a good movement. They've left, again, Gomez.
Yeah, Gomez.
Gomez is still trying to get there now, probably. They've got lucky as well. Pickford doesn't touch it, but he's got to touch it. Then it'll get headed off the line. It's sod's law that he goes to save it.
And it was the timing of it as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, just before half-time.
Just before half-time. If you can get in at 0-0 and, you know, you're thinking, you know, the Dunk's going to get into him a little bit and, you know, a couple of subs come on and it could have been a lot different. And I think that really just made the mood even flatter again. But from that corner, though, I mean, Gomez, he literally has just left his man.
Yeah.
You know, Richarlison's there on the front post, ready to, you know, in his zone to clear that ball away. Wendy comes from behind him, can't even see him come. And Gomez, honestly, I watched the replay of it, and Gomez is just has no idea he's gone. And then he just gets that flick on, and you just think, well, it's taking responsibility.
Richarlison basically almost blocks Gomez off, because Richarlison's the blocker. I'd like to have seen Richarlison maybe be a little bit more aggressive, but it is Andre Gomez, it is his man. He lets him get away from him too easy, and it's a flick, and it's soft, but it's well worked from their point of view. And then, you know, you get all the bottles and everything coming on the pitch, and that makes it more of a drama, and it makes it look, you know, it makes everything look 10 times worse than it is. It's just before half time. But I did think there was a reaction. It's just, there's a lack of genuine quality, though, and a lack of belief and a lack of drive. And for me, in the next few days, if I don't know, the tea lady maybe is in charge. I don't know who's in charge of running the transfers. No, I've no idea. But I'd be looking to pick up and I'll be honest, I don't give a monkeys what anyone thinks.
Yeah.
I'd be going to Chelsea and I'd be going, can we have Ross Barkley for the rest of the season? And I'd be just saying to him, especially if I don't know how long the Corey's going to be out for. Might be a short term, I don't know. But I'd be looking, I think we need someone in centre midfield who can drive at the ball. John McGinn for them was fantastic.
Yeah.
He's a rat, but he's their rat.
Yeah.
So let's go and get our rat, right? And
our rat's a rat, though,
because
he's a rat to us, though.
But John McGinn's a rat. But John McGinn was brilliant. I loved it.
He was very good.
Bang, every time. Because Gerrard said, didn't he? Said we knew it was going to be a fight. Tyrone Mings said we knew it was going to be a fight. So what? We've come here.
Tyrone Mings, by the way, is the shittest footballer I've ever seen in my life.
But do you know their win percentage? Their win is 8%.
Is it?
Something like that. He's crap, but I wish... he's the kind of crap that we could do with. Like a Connor Cody kind of crap.
I disagree.
But he's organised. It doesn't matter.
He cannot pass a ball. How many times he
can defend. But he can defend.
I don't know.
I have this argument. You know what?
Yeah.
I want defenders who can defend. And don't give a monkeys if they can pass. I want defenders who... We've got defenders, by the way, Mike, who can't pass or defend.
No, I get that. I'm not defending our defenders
give me one who can defend all day, mate.
I don't know. I don't think he's the type for me personally, but yeah.
But I watched them, right?
Yeah.
Organisers, back line.
Yeah.
When people go, Maguire's crap, Maguire'd be brilliant for us.
Yeah.
No, forget about all the passing out the back nonsense, right? I watched Mings, and every time we had a free kick, he got everybody in a line, shouting at them on all kinds. Listen, is he a good footballer? No.
Does he kick the ball from the air? Waiting to happen for me, though.
But how many times does it happen? That's what you got to think about, right?
Thing was, when we put pressure on him, like, did you see when he just kicked it out for a corner? When he should have just he was trying to lay it back to the goalie. He just kicked it out and if we score from that corner, but there was a lot of...
I get all that, but hang on, mate, we're sitting here, honestly, and we're somehow relying on a fella who, again, is one...
Don't get me wrong, I'm not defending our centre-backs, I don't think... I just think you need... I don't know. There's got to be people in the Championship. This is what I just don't understand. Remember when we used to pick up Les Scotts and Jagielkas out there?
There are, of course, but what I mean is, though, people like Mings and people like Connor Cody...
Connor Cody, I'd have all day long.
Who are the kind of players who put their bodies on the line, who can organise, who can defend.
Yeah.
We don't have any of them apart from Mina. We have thick players who don't know how to do the basics. And, as I said, their record with Mings is brilliant because...
Would you just bring Branthwaite in and just...
I don't know, because...
I mean, I haven't seen enough of him, but what I've seen of him...
But he's not great in the air. And I think he's got a long way to go. And what we need is what we need is someone who's competent. We need someone who's reliable, who's an old, maybe got a bit of experience. We need one desperately because we're so short back there.
For me, do you know where everyone's going on? And I don't get me wrong, there's loads of positions we need to fill, obviously. But the one key one I would be going for is a centre-back. Yeah. More than all, I know we need a number 10. We desperately do. We've obviously got one who's in jail or is going to jail. We've got one who's gone off to the Middle East. We've lost that, and I get that. But the fight we're in now, if we can start keeping some level of clean sheets, then, you know, if we keep a clean sheet there, and we get a 0-0 and we go into the next game with a bit of momentum, I'd be looking full wholeheartedly for that type of centre-back to bring in, to have alongside Mina and pray that Mina stays fit.
I watch defenders of clubs like who maybe not are seen as brilliant, but what they do is they put the bodies on the line. Yeah. They're prepared to get in front of the ball. They're prepared to, like, you know, be human shields for the goal. And I don't think we've got too much of that at our club. I think we have gormless lads who stand around going, oh. Yeah. Whereas proper defenders defend and
alert to the danger.
And understand the danger and get the body in the way. And love it though, like, love it.
Yeah.
And I
so Connor Cody's the one.
I've liked Connor Cody for 3 or 4 years.
He celebrates a block like a goal, doesn't he? And you want that, it gets the crowd going.
At all. No. Good players, good defenders who can defend, who when corners come in, don't just stand round and let things happen. They're proactive and they make sure.
Take responsibility.
I mean, he's got a bit of that, don't get me wrong, but you can't rely on him.
That's all it is.
And we need somebody like that, and we've got too many players, and as I said, someone like John McGinn in the midfield, he was like, he made the first to tackle.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, lay one on Dean. Well, he laid on one of ours, and then suddenly it was like, oh, you want to fight, do you? And half the time, we don't react.
No.
And that's the thing. We've got this thing as fans, as Evertonians, where we're like, we're going to be up for it and all this. We've got a gang of shit out.
Yeah, we're up for it. The players
But we're not up for it though anymore, Mike.
No, we're not. We want to be though.
What we're watching doesn't inspire that. Yeah. You want to get going and you can't. And we're not. We've got a very reactive fan base, and I just don't. And that's what worries me more than anything is that I watch these players and they're so passive.
Yeah.
So passive.
You know, we got so many brain dead players like Gomez. How many stupid fouls does he give away for a team that can't defend set plays? He gives free kicks away like they're a joke. He pulls people back. It just, you know, he thinks he's clever with it. Some of the free kicks he makes and the decisions he makes are absolutely brain dead. And yeah, we're in a fight, whether people want to believe it or not. We're in a fight.
Oh, we're massively in a fight.
And the signings we need to be doing need to be here now, ready made. If these wing backs we brought in or left and right backs aren't here and now players, then we've missed the trick, because we need players that can come in now, add to what we've got, and come in with the fight and the mentality of wanting to put the body on the line. Exactly what you said.
But like you said before, like someone like Patterson, you bring him in and you'll watch him and you gauge him, you see what he got, and if he's got something, then get him in the side. If he's got something about him, what if he lacks something in maybe the pace of the Premier? See, what I saw from Michaelenko in the first couple of games was a lad who's off the pace, but a lad who also looked a little bit meek and a little bit, I'm just going to do my job kind of thing. Like, I'm going to grow.
He was a bit rabbit in the headlights, wasn't he?
Yeah. Whereas I look at someone like Patterson, who plays for Scotland, who's played for Rangers, who's played no firm games. All right, doesn't play loads of football, but I think he's got the temperament where you go on, like, get in that side.
I think as well, what you got to look at with them as well, you go, you know, right now, here and now, can Godfrey do a job there? He can.
Yeah.
John Joe Kenny can't.
No.
So that's the difference for me, where I'd be looking to bring him in.
Like what you said before, you want Godfrey ideally playing centre back for the pace and next to Mina, and he's big as well, which Holgate isn't really that big. He's aggressive. I don't think Godfrey's a great defender, but he's aggressive and he's got something about him. But the only way that's going to happen is if you put Michaelenko in at left back.
Yeah.
And then, like, okay, Patterson can go in at right back, and I think, but we've got to establish
a team.
We've got to establish a team and stick with it, and it's got to be players who are up for, who've got a bit of aggression. I think Godfrey's got that.
But this is where I think if you bring a centre back in, you can at least then rotate with Godfrey and Michaelenko if you need to. But I think a centre back, honestly, is an absolute must. An absolute must. And then if we can bring in a number 10 or a ball carrying midfielder or something brilliant, but
I think we need a ball carrying midfielder out of necessity, though. I really do.
We do.
I really do.
And Godfrey's with Decore's injury.
I really do think that a player picking up the ball in midfield for us and driving us forward for it will take the pressure off and will open up the pitch.
Just break the lines.
For Richarlison and whoever else. Somebody breaks those lines, and I think. Listen, Barkley's there. Dele Alli's there.
Yeah.
They're both on.
What do you think of Lingard? I say this every time.
Apparently, though, they're asking for silly money for it, though. I do like him, don't get me wrong, but I think they're asking for silly money. But I think he's more of he is a number 10, but I'm thinking like a number 8.
Number 8,
But don't get me wrong, I think Lingard, but I don't think I think the money they're asking for is silly.
Where's it? Contacting some of that one?
Yeah, I think Ross would be, whether people all like it or not, could be the player who comes in and
do you think I agree, by the way, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'd have Ross Barkley every day of the week because I'm past all this I'm not I just want us to stay up. But do we need another thing that's going to cause division?
I mean, I'm not being funny, like, but if it does cause division, you're an idiot.
But it would, though, wouldn't it? With
well,
some
then
of the fan
anyone who thinks that the situation isn't already at a point where it's a mess, and by bringing a footballer in that they just don't like, it's just let it get it. These footballers,
it's better than what we've got. There's no two ways about it, obviously. And like you say, it's a big glaring hole of what we're missing.
Especially, as I said, especially if Decore. And that if he came in, if someone like that came in, and suddenly you could pick Allen,
Decore, Barkley,
or Allen. You know, I don't know how long Tom Davies is going to be out for. See, Tom Davies would be ideal in this situation. He really would. Definitely. Sitting in front of that back four with Allen, and it comes that we've done this. We've been awful in recruitment. So we've got this patchwork now of players, and it's just a mess.
The thing what we need to start doing as well is stop. We can't, like Benitez created this as well, where we're waiting for injured players to come back. Yeah. We can't keep waiting for we're what, 20 games now? We play 20 games in?
We've got 18
We're
left.
20 games in. We can't wait for people to come back. We've got to start getting results with what we've got and work out a way fast.
We have to win like 3, we have to win 1 and 3 now going forward.
1 in 3 games when we've won 1 in, 3 months?
We have to win 1 and 3. And that's to get, I mean, that doesn't even guarantee safety. You'd have to throw a few draws in there.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's how serious the situation is now.
It is.
It's properly serious. And it's what they do in the next couple of weeks that they're going to define. And we're properly. Do
you know one thing?
Honestly, it's just the worst. It's the worst I've felt. Worst I've seen us.
For me, do you know, just right now, with what we've got and nothing changed, we're going down. I'm resigned to that.
I think so.
Absolutely resigned to it. We've got, 10 days? Oh, no, not even that. A week, have we? 8 days or something?
The transfer window's next Monday.
Yeah.
And in terms of Premier League games, we've got just over, I think it's 2 weeks tomorrow to our next Premier League game. And we've got Newcastle and Leeds, I think, at home then.
Yeah.
And that's defining. They're teams who one's just behind us and one's just above us. They're defining games for us.
They are. They're massive.
They're massive games.
This recruitment now, though, is absolutely key. And the issue you've got is you haven't got a manager in place. You ain't got a director of football. Yeah. So what type of players are you looking to bring in? You know, and who's making those decisions?
I have no idea. It's terrifying. It really is terrifying. It's honestly terrifying because, and the mad thing is, I could see us going down with a proper whimper as well. A real proper whimper where all these players just feel sorry for themselves. Because I just don't see anything on the pitch that tells me that any of them are up for this.
I was saying to you off camera, wasn't I? And it was. I don't want to take it as my idea. I heard it on one of these spaces on Twitter where someone had said that it's the South Americans that are up for it, and they're absolutely right. You know, you look at Mina, you look at Alan when I thought Alan's attitude when he come on was absolutely unbelievable. For the lad hasn't trained all week, and has come in under Ancelotti and Napoli and he's been probably promised the earth. I thought he's the character I want on the pitch. And Richarlison, look, he has bad games. He does, of course he does. But the lad never not gives you effort. Yeah. They're the players you need on the pitch. So it's there is a core in there. We've really got to work out quick now how to find, and that's what you hit the nail on it. We're bringing Patterson in with that, you know, coming from Rangers, coming from Glasgow, and has he got that character, that fight? I would suggest he probably has more than a few of the others.
Yeah, definitely. We could just go to Ben Brazil and sign and get all the waiters. See if they can play. They're all South Americans.
Get a nice.
They might have better. They might be better than what we've got. Let's just have a look at the stats on the game. 15 shots to Villa's 8. but only 1 on target. That tells the tale. 1 big chance to Villa's 1 big chance. They had 3 shots on target as well. 49% possession to 51. And the passes 3-3-2 to 3-6-2. Again, that shows you that really it should have been a draw. I'm sure Andy the Piv is screaming the XG out right now, and the XG was probably very similar. But it should have been a draw. But if you don't put the ball in the back of the net, then that's just the way it is. I think
if you take the game in isolation and forget all the crap that we've had previously and everything that's going on, you just watch that game just in that game or as a neutral, 100% we deserved the draw out of it.
Yeah.
We did. But it doesn't work like that, does it? We need to start, like I say, we need to start getting solid. Stop giving up stupid set-piece goals. You know, we had a manager last season that we had a really good defensive record from set plays, and we had a good attacking record from set plays. You know, let's get back to that. Part of me does think though that was an improvement over the game. The irony, although we did concede one from it, you know, will Dunk be able to at least bring a little bit of that back from the Ancelotti part of it?
Don't get me wrong, right? It's not a lost cause.
Yeah,
we've still got. If we can win 6 games, I think we'll stay up.
Yeah,
so it's not a lost cause, but that's what I'm saying. Over the next week, recruitment-wise, we've got to get a couple of players in. Got big decisions to make, and they've got big decisions to make over a manager.
Yeah.
But they've got to make those decisions. They can't just sit round going, right, who's on your list, Bill, and who's on your list, Kia. They've got to make decisions. Otherwise, it's the fate of this club.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the larger sense of the word
100%.
as well. No stadium.
No.
Ain't coming back, ain't bouncing back.
I'll have to take this hoodie off.
I know. Special edition, that, like, from now on. It'd be like, look, the Bramley Moor Dock car park.
What could have been.
Yeah. Like those posters, know what you say? Revenge of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Like the way for fortune. That's that hoodie's the same. Yeah, it's grim, innit? It's just grim. I feel grim. But a couple of weeks now till the next game, which is an FA Cup game. So pressure could be off in that game. Could get some games back. Some players could come in and and hopefully.
I think as well. Look, and I know it's hard, and but as fans, when we start turning up to these games now, we've got to get right behind the team for that 90 minutes. Forget all the other shit that's going on behind at the club for that night, because at the end of the day, it's only us that's going to be left hurting. Then players will go off into the sunset.
Oh, they'll all go.
Owners, board members, whatever, they're all fine. They're all multi-millionaire. They'll all crack on with their lives. This means more to us than it does to any one of them. And we can at least affect the home games. And I think, you know, if we get in there, and even if it is flat, we've got to try our best to get this atmosphere up, because we can affect the team. You know, we can. We know we can, and it shouldn't be that. And we shouldn't even be talking about it. But we'll also enjoy the experience a little bit more. I think we were all excited to go Saturday for the first time in God knows how long.
Yeah.
It fell a little bit flat. I really think that cup game, we need to get that place bouncing, and let's get a bit of feel good back into it.
The thing about the cup game as well is I don't think no one should write off the FA Cup, because in '95 it helped with the momentum of getting back to winning a game. I mean, imagine we beat Brentford and we go into the game on a Tuesday night against Newcastle. We've just won, and we're like, right, we've just won that game.
Yeah.
Go to the next one and get that feeling back of understanding 100%. What it means to win a game of football.
Get the ball in the back of the net. Yeah. Get that feeling. Get Patterson, Michaelenko in. Get them some game time.
There you go. There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. It's not a great time to be an Evertonian, but when is? So let us know your thoughts. We'll be continuing this on. We're doing this live. We're on Patreon right now, doing it live. We'll be continuing over on Patreon, getting the questions from the guys over there and their comments, and seeing how they feel about the situation. If you want to join us on Patreon, please do. The link is in the description. It'll also be on the screen as well. Big thanks to Mike for coming in as well and saving me, because I would have been on my own, just chatting to the camera like a complete lunatic, like I do normally. There you go. Thanks for watching. See you later. Okay.